Alright, part 2 of this video, I guess, is planting my trees, my rock biomes, my water surrounding area biomes, and then finally my kind of bush biome that I've got a kind on my around the course in various places. Now I have to apologize for video 1. I just ran through it. I realized I said okay about 5,000 times. Apologize for that. That's a subconscious thing. I will try and keep that down to a minimum on this video. Okay? Kidding. Anyways, so here we go. I'm back on hole 3 and I'm just showing you basically what I've got planted for my trees. We'll start with trees. And this, again, I said my trees are planted on my main default biome. And what I've done here, let me just get rid of VSpro. Let me get rid of terrain. And let me bring up my foliage terrain, which is foliage new because I splat mapped my whole first one, lost a bunch of work, but live and learn. I'll turn on draw. And here we go. You can see what I've done here now. This is my foliage terrain up, how I've painted this hole. So if I go to, close these meshes here, and if I go down, back up to VSpro, and look at my biomes, the default biome, remember I said my trees were on the default biome. I have two kind of groupings of trees. I have my no collider trees, which are going to be painted on the purplish texture here, and then I've got my desktop trees, which are more or less on this yellow. Okay, and sorry, there's one. What I've done here is if we look at this one, this blue spruce desktop, if I go down to the terrain texture rules. So before we talked about we're going to use the mask rules. Okay, that's what we did on the first one. Well, what we're going to do on this one now is we're going to use terrain texture rules. We're basically saying, hey, wherever I paint this texture on my terrain foliage, plant this stuff. All right, so basically, and then again, you can set different densities, and I disable my shadows on the outer ones just because I don't want the frames hit on that, but these inner ones on the yellow ones, if I go grab one here, let's see here, all right, I haven't disabled the shadows on those. Okay, so basically I've got them like that. So when you enable VSpro, let me get rid of this foliage new here first. Put my terrain back on. Actually, no, let's do this. Let's leave that just to kind of show you where it'll plant. And there we go. All right, so that's basically it. So again, if I look here on my default biome, I've got all these trees. I've got some inner, some outer. And also on these ones, I've got some grasses too that I'll plant along with these. So let's see if I can find an inner grass here. Trees, trees, trees. Here's wheat 2 trees. So I've got this also planting using this texture rule. So wherever it's painted, it's also going to plant some grass. I've got some grasses on these ones too, on the outer trees. They're not going to be as dense though, because you're not going to see it as much. So I've kind of mixed it up a bit. And again, you can go in there, play with density rules and colors and stuff like that. So I mean, there's so much you can do with this. It's awesome. When you plant trees, I mean, it'd be nice to plant trees with massive density, but I think you're just going to take a massive frames hit. So again, I'm going to get this into the game and kind of using the Justin method of basically trying to, less is more, trying to make it look full without it being full. I don't want my game to take a huge performance in guys with only like 3080s and above be able to play my course properly. So I'm trying to keep that into consideration. So let's go now to my human height guy on 15. Here we go. So I've left my terrain, foliage terrain up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off VSpro. I think it's off already here, or maybe not. Is it off? Yeah, it's off. All right, so let's go back here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint around this hole. Now, like I said before, looking at this hole and videoing it, when I went and played it, I realized that most of the inner areas are a bush, and then the outer areas are the tree. So there's not going to be a ton of planting. I mean, you can see around here on the upper part all the planting I've done around this course, right? So it's basically, I haven't done these holes yet, I kind of skipped forward, but you can kind of see how much trees I've put in this forest course. This hole is a little different in that there's a lot of homes around it and roads and stuff like that, but there are still some trees. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back, I'm going to make sure I've selected my foliage new, my draw should be on, it is on, alright, so we can see it, and I'm now going to paint. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to paint my trees because they're a little more, I've got more of a dense setting with my collider trees, so this yellow. So I'm going to select this yellow. I'm going to go grab a normal brush, set my opacity all the way up because really there's no reason not to here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around, maybe select a 6. I'm finding on the inner trees, like if you look up here, the yellow, it's like a 6 for a brush size, and then the outer's like an 11, and that's giving me a good coverage on the whole. So I'll plan on maybe doing a 7 here on this one. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of go around. I'll start over here, and I'm going to just paint this, knowing that basically below this I'm going to do a, just below it I'm going to do a my bush biome. So I'll kind of do this, maybe put a little more here, not too much, and I'll probably tweak this after, but just give you an idea what I'm doing here. Alright, and then same thing here, I'll kind of put it down towards here. And then over here, I will just kind of go. Now normally I would put my purple one on this because I don't want colliders, but it doesn't, I don't have a very big density setting on this, so I do want some pretty good tree coverage along this area, so I am going to stick with this yellow one on this one. Apparently Stingray says that the VSpro handles the colliders fairly well with too much of a performance hit, so we'll go with that. So there we go, I've set that. I'm not going to do any purple on this one, alright, not required. And then again, I really don't know what's going to happen over on this part of the hole because I don't think you'll see it too much, so I'm not gonna paint there right now. I'll go after, I'll see, you know, if guys want to fly around in F5, I don't know, but I'm just going to kind of do this for right now. So let's go back here. Let's turn on VSpro and check it out, see what it does. There we go. So that's pretty good coverage, quite happy with that. All right, nice and easy. So now what we can do is I'm basically done with my foliage terrain for painting and mask rules, because now we're just going to do biome mask for everything else. So what I do here is I'm going to go and turn off the draw in my foliage terrain, turn back on my terrain, and then we'll see how it looks with how I painted it on the last hole, and there we go. Alright, so that's not too bad. Sometimes you'll see all this stuff spawns again. You've got to play the scene to get rid of it. But let's do this. Let's go to the camera, game object, align with view, and let's play it and see how it looks. Sorry, just opened my coffee from Tim Hortons. Oh, maybe I gotta push that again. Let's check it out. There we go. All right. So that's pretty good. It's stuck. I'm still learning here. Let's try that again. All right. No, I don't. Oh yeah, I know why those grasses are on there, because that's part of my water I'm going to do. But here we go. Let's go again. Computer's running a little slow, and I just pushed it again. Oh my God. Let's try this again. Welcome to my struggles in Unity. I'll give it a second here. Have a sip of coffee. There we go. All right. So I think that looks pretty good. All right, there we go. So there's my trees. I'm quite happy with that. And you see I mentioned over here, I've got the grasses with the trees and stuff like that. I'm quite happy with all this stuff. So while we're on this, let's go talk about my bushes. Okay. So if we go down and back to VSpro, let's go look at my, I call it my mountains biome, but basically I've changed that to my bushes. And this is all the stuff I have in there. So this is my additional biomes that I have. So these aren't on my default, but with these we'll use the mask prefab that's right here that Stingray's put in, so we can just do that. But I've got some rocks in here, you can see. Got a white oak desktop no collider. I've got a mobile no collider. And what I've done with these is I've changed, oops, if you go down, and position offset on the y-axis -8. So I've actually buried it in the ground a bit, so just the top is sticking out. That was another trick I just picked up from Stingray here recently. And same thing with this item, it's -2, so it's a little lower, and it's my conifer. All right, so it looks like a young pine tree and stuff like that. Then I've got my grasses, and also with some of this stuff I've taken off the steepness rule on some of these, but I've left some of the steepness rule on, like this one here, the wheat 2, I've left the steepness rule so it doesn't plant everywhere like this super steep over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off VSpro, because I don't want to have it when I'm doing this because it's too difficult and stuff like that. But what we can do here is, all right, I want to go ahead and plant, and then we can tweak after. So I'm going to bring my biome mask prefab up here, put it in there, and there it is. And then what I do is I'm going to drag it over and kind of using that point click thing. It doesn't like the terrain too much, I find here, so sometimes you just got to kind of tweak it, get up there, and maybe get a little higher. And when you get a little higher, it seems to be a little better. And then I'm going to go to right around here. Same thing right around here. All right. And then I'm just going to, again, basically, let's go down here. And here's the outline of my spline, so I'm just getting basically control. Nope, see it does weird things once in a while, so let's add one here. Control click. Oh, it's doing it again. So let's try this. There we go. Control click, then I can move it over to kind of here, and let's see if it takes it. Now there we go. Now it's happy again. All right. And just kind of do the outline here of what I've got going on. And then here's my, can't really see it, but here is my, here's my deep rough spline. So I'm gonna put that, go right there. And again, we can go in and tweak this stuff after. I'm just kind of doing a rough outline here right now. Control click, bring it all in here. This thing is down now. There we go. That's pretty good for this bottom one. Let's go tweak the top now. Now, see, same thing. You just got to play around with it. It's a little finicky sometimes, so that's what I'm going to do here. All right, and maybe see if I can control. No, did it again. Control Shift click. So I'm going to move this over here. Just kind of do that. Now you see this red zone here. That's that blending zone. I don't want too much blend on this, so I'm going to turn it right down. And you'll see it just kind of disappear. So it basically plant everywhere in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign it my bush biome, so which I think is number 2. We're going to find out here. It's number 2 or 3. Might be number 3 actually. Let's do this, and then let's check it out here. Let's turn on VSpro again and just kind of get an idea of what it's doing. Okay, so there you go. So now you can see it's planted quite nicely, my bushes and stuff like that. Now again, don't worry about all this because we've got to run the scene and stuff like that. So all you have to do for that is just play it. Let it play. And take it off, and it should now do it properly. So there we go. So there we go. That's better. So now you can see I've got some rocks in here. I've got basically planted here. I've got this guy here looking good. All right. So that's kind of my bush biome. All right. I'll go in here and I'll tweak it after. I'm just kind of showing you. You can see the colliders on my trees right there. All right. Let's play this scene. I think I've got it from the beginning there, from the man. Let's see how it looks. So there we go. All right. I'll probably lighten that texture up a bit, okay, and flow a little better down there by the middle of the cart path where the grass is. Just make everything flow nicely. But basically, all right, that was easy, right? So I'll do the same thing on those trees and by the other side of the lake. And then, all right, let's turn VSpro off just because it's easier to do this without it. All right. So let's add another mask here. And we'll just bring it here. Oops. She doesn't like this too much. Here. Over here. See how far I want to bring that. To about here. Let's control click this one, and then I'll just bring this over here. Planting on elevation sometimes with this, I find it's finicky with these nodes. See, it does that. I try and add another one, so I kind of put one close to where I want it, and then kind of do that. Just do it over here too. On flat, it's not too bad though. It doesn't work too bad. So there's one there. That'll be good. And then finally, I think I said I wanted one along here too. You know what? Maybe I'll leave the homes alone, and what I'll do is I'll plant it just basically over here now. See if it does it here. Oh, there we go. See, on flatter stuff, it likes it a little more, a little easier to do. So let's, oh, maybe I spoke too soon. All right, that's pretty good. I think that's enough. And I'm gonna go in and tweak this after, but again, I'm just kind of showing you guys basically what I've done here. Alright, so we've got that, Perfect. Actually, let's do this. Let's turn on VSpro again. Check it out. Alright. Go to this one first. If there's anything good here. Yeah, see, that mass didn't even really show up because it's all taken from this. Let's check this out here. Let's bring this one. Oh, now that grabs the trees. That's another problem too, is when you have the trees, it likes to go up in the trees. So honestly, I don't think I want one here. I think this is full enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete one. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. Let's go check out this guy over here now. Alright, so I figured out why this wasn't populating here. It's because I didn't assign it a biome. So now I've gone ahead and assigned it a biome, but it's really not doing too much. So let's get rid of the blend distance, and there we go. Now it's going to populate some stuff. Looks like I got to do a little more painting here, so I'll paint that after the fact. But there we go. So now I've got my bush biome in there, and I'll play the scene. And take a look over, and yeah, we got a few bushes and stuff like that. Alright, so that's better. I'm just gonna have to go in there and do some terrain painting to get rid of that. Alright, so that's my bushes. Okay, next thing we're gonna look at here is two more things. My rock. So let's go to my rock here. Like I said, I've got a lot of rock formations on this course. So what I like to do is I want to add a little bit of vegetation around this. So I've got a rock biome. So if we go to my biome 1, okay, that's my rock one, and again I've got my grasses here, different densities, different heights, not quite as tall as some of my other stuff, alright, but so I've got different heights and stuff like that. I've taken off on this one because I've got some steep rocks, some steep cliffs and stuff like that, so I've taken off the steepness rule. But let's go ahead and let's again drag the biomass prefab over here. Let's go ahead and go around. Now this one's a little tricky in the sense that it goes right against the cart path, so I'm probably, hopefully that, might have to put on a veggie mask area or mask line after the fact, but let's see here. So, alright, that doesn't look too bad. Let's control click to make this look a little fuller, but I'm take it in a bit here. I don't want it too wide. Alright, there we go. Maybe a little more there. There we go. Bring this guy over here. And then let's go around here. Let's put one, actually let's put one right here. Bring it out, bring this guy in. Control click right here, right here. Gonna try to see, make sure it doesn't go on my cart path, so I might bring it in here. Although, yeah, that's good. If it doesn't paint there, that's no big deal. Go around here to the other side. Control click, bring this guy, whoops, no, where are you going? Wrong one, there we go, there. Bring this guy over here, maybe put one here, and then bring this guy over here, bring this back over here. Let's go 0 blend, and let's go assign it biome 1 and see what happens here. There we go. Alright, it's that easy. So let me go and grab this terrain here. Let's take a look at it a little closer up. So not bad. I can get rid of that a little later when I tweak it and stuff like that. So quite happy with that. Now, one thing I am not happy with, alright, is how it comes up a little too much on the rock. Now it's nice to have a little bit of growth into the rock. It makes it look natural, I think. But I don't like this. I don't like this part here. There's too much. So I'm going to grab a veggie mask lion. I'm going to bring it up here. I don't need all of them, so I'm going to go Control Shift click to get rid of a couple of them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this over to kind of cover the rock that I don't want. Come on. Right here. Alright, now it's still doing a little too much over here. So let's drag this down. Actually, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this, and I'm going to add another one right here. Drag it down. See if it does anything. It doesn't really do too much, does it? No. Alright, let's go Control Shift, get rid of that, bring this back. And then what I can do here is I can go in this additional remove grass. I can just try and let's just bring it up to 0.25 and see. Not really much. 0.5, not really much. 0.75. That's not too bad. Maybe I'll just go 1. Alright, it's not doing too bad here. And I'll just bring it down. I don't want to kind of get rid of too much of it. Let's see here. Yeah, that's not bad. Alright. So if we run this guy, let's go in camera. Back it up a bit so it doesn't zoom too much. Game object, align with view, play it, see how it looks here. Just thinking about it. Thought I pushed play, but let's push it again. There we go. Computer's slow. Anyway, that's not too bad, hey? Might tweak that a bit later, but again, going on an overview here. I didn't do the bushes here, but we've got bushes all along there, bushes up there. Camera's crooked now. I haven't figured that one out. Alright, so basically now the last thing we have to do is the water. So I'm going to head over. I'm going to turn off VSpro again for this, just to make it easier. But we can still go look at my water biome here. So here we've got water. Biome 2, we'll remember that. So all I've got for that is basically these grasses here, but they're different heights. Alright, so I've got seagrass 8, I've got a couple wheats, and the seagrass, which one's the dark? Is the dark one, and it's the tall one. It's 2.4 on the scale. I actually brought it down. It was higher than my human height guy, so it was a little too much. But this is basically what I've got, and I've got my densities. Again, you go into each item and you set what you want for densities. Play around. It's quite fun, actually, once you get the hang of it. But here's my water, okay? Now, so what we have to do now Now normally I've got some water here and here, but I'll just deal with this large body first. I'll go do this after the fact. This is my dilemma now because this will never come into gameplay. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start about, let's call it, maybe right here, and I'm going to go across. So let's do a biomass prefab. Let's drag it in there, and let's, no, I don't want you. I'm going to start it here, and I'm going to drag it to the other side. No, you don't need to go there. This one I will use a blend on. I find the blend works nicely on this one. Let's go get you over here. It's going to take a while to get this thing set. Let's go grab this guy. I don't know where he's going. Yeah, calm down, buddy. Alright, that's good. And then let's go bring this guy over here. And then let's go bring this guy over here to this edge. Alright, now we're going to start control clicking. And you can see our blend zone look pretty good there. Alright, so I'll leave it there and then we'll run it, we'll see how it goes. But alright, so start wherever. I guess let's start right here and let's just start control clicking away. I want it to run right up against here. Oops, grab it. I'm going to control click over here and bring this down so it's easier. Oh, come on. Just kind of along the line here. Alright, keep going. Okay, not going to worry too much against here, and I'll show you what I'll do if this sticks out too much in the water here. We'll just do a mask area to cover it. I've done it on a couple. Alright, here. You know what? I think I'm going to start it more over here. Just kind of run it now. Basically along this line. I want to come right up to the tee box here. Oops. Still getting used to these WASD keys or WASD keys, whatever you computer guys call this. Actually, this is going on to the, I want this going on to the rough. Alright. Maybe I'll move that blend to like a 3. Let's check out a 3. There we go. See how it looks. Alright, then let's assign. I think we said that was biome 2 from what I remember. Let's assign it here. Turn it on. And see how it goes. Now don't worry about all this water here. I'm going to take care of this in a second. Not bad. maybe, let's go back there. Not crazy about this. Let's go, maybe make the blend a 2 or even a 1. Alright, let's look at it here now. Some of it's sticking up from my regular terrain, but I don't mind that actually. I am going to get rid of those yellow grasses from, I don't like it. I don't like the yellow grasses. I'll have to get rid of them. Okay, so anyway, let's just say this is what we're going to go with. I'm going to tweak this later and stuff like this, but you see all this other stuff now? Well, you don't want any of this other grass, right? Showing and stuff like that. So what we can do here is super easy. You just go and grab a vegetation mask area, and let's now bring it over and do the same thing. Okay, you're basically telling it again where you don't want it to plant. So I'm just going to bring it over here. We're going to have to tweak it again. Then you got to figure out along the shoreline or the water line how far you want to be able to see this stuff. So I'm going to go kind of right here. So using this mask line to, I should come over here. Because I like a little bit of the grass sticking out of the water. Give it a nice full look. Alright, so there's that now. So let's go take a look at our human height guy here. Where is he? Human height 12. No, he's not 12, he's human height 15. Let's go focus on him. Okay, that's not too bad. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to run this scene. See how it goes. Have a sip of my coffee. No, that's not the one I wanted. Let's go back to him. All right. There we go. Let's do this here. Camera. Sorry, I realize this is slow, guys, but You guys, I think you'll understand this is how it goes. Alright, so not bad. I'm going to bring that in a little more and probably calm down on how far up it comes here, so I'm going to tweak that. I'll do that here shortly. Let's see here. I just think it's sticking a little too much. Alright. And then, oh yeah, I've got to go over there and tweak that, bring that line over some more. It's still sticking up, so I'll go do that also. Get rid of this yellow stuff, but that gives you an idea basically on how it's doing. It's not too bad there. One thing I am going to check here right now, I've had to do this on all my tee boxes. This will kind of be the last thing I talk about before I go tweak this, is because on my terrain I had to do a lot of, because this is a mountain course, I had to do a lot of terrain sculpting and stuff like that. So even though I have a fairly new foliage terrain, at some points the foliage is a little higher than my terrain. This one doesn't look too bad. Looks like it's planting everywhere as it should. Like right here. You see that? Or is that just, well, maybe not. That's just the way. Let me see here. So let me see what's going on. So basically, if I turn on my foliage terrain here, okay, turn on the draw, we're going to see if it comes sticking up a bit. So see how it sticks up a bit here? So this is where these grasses are planting on my terrain foliage. So what I have to do with the draw on my terrain foliage is I have to go smooth this out. And I'm finding that generally, I'll start at about 26, maybe reduce the brush size. You don't want to overdo it on this, but if let's see here, get rid of this. No, that's not enough. It's not happy. Let's do here. Come on. No, it's still not happy. Let's go higher. There we go. Okay. And I'm basically going around and I'm smoothing this terrain so it hugs. Alright, I've still got to go higher. I don't really like going this high, but I just want the terrain to hug, or the foliage to hug my terrain. So there you go. So I had to turn it up because it's probably so steep here. Alright, there we go. So now I'm going to go around and I'm going to smooth out this whole area so the foliage hugs my terrain more. Alright, so I'll do that. A good example of that here is if I go and I created a guy here and I didn't do hole 16 red. Let's go to him here. Alright, here's another example. See how my terrain is sitting up? So if I get rid of this guy here, if I get rid of my foliage new, get rid of the draw, okay, you can see, let's see here. Right here, I can't really tell, I can tell, but it's not hugging my terrain perfectly. Right here, see this big spot right there with the eye? Okay, so you can see it there. So when guys are on the tee boxes right there, you can see it and stuff like that. So basically that's my foliage terrain, not exactly meshing to my, contouring to my regular terrain. So all I do for that again is, let's turn the draw back on, put the smooth on. This one I'll do, go back to like maybe let's try a 40. Actually, I think I was doing a 40, between 40 and 50. And let's smooth it out here and watch what happens to this terrain, or to the foliage when I do that. See how it comes down and hugs it nicer? So I basically had to go around all my tee boxes and just basically, and it's only where it slopes down, obviously, right? And see how it's fuller and it's hugging it more. So I've gone around, and anywhere the foliage or the foliage terrain is sticking up, I go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to go pause it. I'm going to clean up the other foliage terrain on that lake. I'm going to go make a few changes, get it to where I'm comfortable with, and I'll tweak it some more, obviously, but I'll do that. And then I'll give you a quick show, and then we'll go from there. Thank you. All right, guys, I've kind of gone around and tweaked it. I'll probably still do a few changes, obviously, and then after I bake it, I might even do some individual planting here. Like this little area here, I might want a few more bushes, just kind of going by the videos I took on the golf course. But if I play this scene, this is pretty much this hole all planted now. There we go. So I move my water, the vegetation in a bit, but we start over here. So you see I've got my trees and my bush biomes. Then I've got all my mass keeping it off my cart path. I added another bush biome at the end of the tee box there. You can see the little mini conifer. And then all the way down we've got my rock with the stuff planted around it. Okay, and then I've got my water, vegetation with my trees in the background there, some more bushes and stuff like that. So I think that looks pretty good. Let's go back, visit a couple other spots, and then that'll be good. But basically here, let's go to, I think it's number 12. I quite like this one too. There's no water, but I like this one because I really enjoy the bush biome on this one, or the mountain biome as I call it. I think it looks pretty good. Play this scene. Maybe I'm too quick. There we go. So I like that too. I think that looks sharp. I've got all my stuff planted. You see I've got a rock at the end there. Got all my rakes in and stuff like that. Alright, this is the hole that's coming onto it. It's been planted also. Alright, so I don't know. I'm quite happy with all this stuff. So there you go, guys. There's me planting a hole in VSpro. If you have any questions, just ask on Discord. Again, I'm fairly new with this. This is my first course, but I'm quite enjoying this. Steep learning curve. And we'll talk to you guys on Discord, alright? Thank you.